But for more on this, we now have with us Dr. Malcolm Davis. He's joining us live from Canberra. Dr. Davis is a senior analyst in defense strategy and capability at Australian Strategic Policy Institute. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Dr. Davis. Now, the ICJ will rule today on a request by South Africa to implement a ceasefire in Gaza. And just a day before the ruling, Israel has said that it will not comply with any orders from the World Court. What are the wider implications of the ruling today, especially at a time when we are witnessing Israel losing support in the global arena?
Well, look, I think I entirely understand Israel's position here. There is no equivalency between the actions of Israel and the actions of Hamas. And I would suggest that irrespective of what finding or resolution the ICJ come up with, Hamas will not stop their actions and their attacks against Israel. So Israel does have to continue to defend itself. I do think that Israel does have to defend itself in a manner that's consistent with international humanitarian law, but they do have the right to defend themselves against attacks by a ruthless terrorist organization. The challenge they face is that if they refuse this resolution, if they refuse the ceasefire, which they will, then it will become more difficult for the international community that is supportive of Israel to maintain that support, particularly in terms of political support and also arms shipments. And the key step that will go on from this is that whilst the ICJ resolution has no enforceability, it could prompt a UN Security Council resolution that does have enforceability to be put forward, and it's likely the US would then veto that resolution.
Dr. Davis, you mentioned that Israel needs to continue to defend itself. Given the way things are right now, do you feel it is defending itself at the moment, given the death toll on the Palestinian side?
Well, look, Hamas started this on October the 7th. Israel has retaliated. I do think that Israel needs to probably consider how it goes about its military operations to try and reduce the risk of civilian casualties. I think everyone understands that. But if Israel stopped fighting tomorrow and withdrew all their forces, firstly, there's no guarantee that Hamas would release the hostages. Secondly, there's no guarantee that Hamas would not then launch further October 7th style attacks on Israel. So that places Israel in a dilemma. On the one hand, they have to be able to fight against Hamas. They have to release the hostages. But on the other hand, in doing so, they do cause civilian casualties. They can certainly work to reduce those civilian casualties, but they are defending themselves because they know that Hamas have no intention whatsoever of allowing Israel to exist. And if they stop fighting, if Israel stops fighting and accepts a ceasefire, Hamas will go on the offensive and continue to attack Israel.
All right, Dr. Davis, thanks for sharing those insights. Of course, you've also done a bit of foretelling here regarding what happens next once the ruling is out. Thank you for those insights. Always a pleasure speaking with you and joining us here on World DNA. That was Dr. Malcolm Davis joining us from Canberra.
Thank you.